when final score ended up 48-0. That was really it for me to remember. Another one was last year at Dickinson. It so happened that I was covering an end run and a fumble popped out and I grabbed it and happened to go in the other way, and that was quite a memorable moment. And also the PMC game last year where the guys were really psyched up for it.
How do you feel the team is looking forward? You think we're up for it?
Well, all I can say is their attitude is definitely better than what with the S&M game. We had the attitude in practice so far this week is really great, and I think everybody.
Well, the one final question. As captain, do you think this has changed your outlook towards any game or towards your teammates?
It's definitely an incentive to try to set an example. And this has been kind of hard in my position. Captainitis, I guess, has been running around. Every captain has had in the last 2 years has been hurt. It's kind of hard to put forth your best, but it definitely does give you something to work towards.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you very much. And now we have a most eager guest who appeared on the show last year. He's coming back to tell us all the things he forgot to say last season. This is John Summers. John, how are you, and how does the team shape up this week?
Well, Mike, personally, I'm in good shape, and I think the team is in high spirits. We have a few injuries to key personnel, but I think the attitude will compensate for any loss in their time.
Well, last year we sort of went into a slump around the same time, and we came out of it barely and went on to win the title. Do you think that this season may follow along the same lines? If so, this is an important game.
Well, it certainly is an important game, Mike, but I hope we've already had our slump. We played a pretty poor game against S&M and we opened snap.
Oh, while Wilbur is trying to keep us on off the scoreboard, you'll be trying to get us on it. And what do you have set up this week? What sort of defense do they usually play?
Well, they have two basic defenses, both of which jam up the middle. So we're planning to run outside a lot, go a little bit outside. We'll probably use pro offense to fit that into the flanker to the range. A lot of man in motion plays and try to spread out.
Do you find that there's any more pressure on you, the quarterback, and what teams are looking for this year? We are defending champions. They're putting a lot more pressure on you.
Well, I know that every team's gunning for us. They always look for the top dog. I don't think it puts any more pressure on me than usual. It's a little bit harder, but it's hard for everybody.
Well, Coach Elverson said that you called the whole Dickinson game, and you called a very good game. How do you feel about calling your own game all the way?
It's really a challenge, Mike, and I have a lot of fun calling it. Especially on a good day, have the whole offense working Dickinson. That's the difference now being such a range pretty easy to call. Today was good weather. We should mix up our offense, passing, running, and it's really a good feeling to see a play go. Of course, failing hurts pretty bad, but I really like to call my own game, and that way I can set up my own plays, set the strategy. So if one play goes, I can fake that one and run back the other way, something like that. Much work pattern.
Do you find yourself calling any automatic? How many do you think you would call in the average game?
Well, Mike, that's one thing we don't do at all. We don't call any automatic on the line, mainly because if we feel that if we change our play on the line, it's probably the first to do it. And it'll probably end up a loss. play that I call.
Well, you're quarterback in the game. What sort of things are you thinking of? The team has a strong pass rush, and that's the only one getting through the second half. You know when we have to pass. What sort of things go through your mind? Calling the play. What are you trying to do?
Well, for instance, if they rush the passer quite a bit, instead of throwing passes just dropping back straight, I throw them on the run. That doesn't give them much time to get in. Let's give them a real target if they've got anything. If they're jamming the middle, we try to run outside. They have a fluid offense with getting spotting along the line, either penetrating into the backfield, try to run fake. Take one way, they'll probably go that way, and come back off the fake, hold the fake. All these things. For instance, the depth of the defensive backfield. If they're playing 10 yards off our end, we'll try to hook and punt. If they're playing right up close, we'll try to get behind.
Well, your faking has been excellent this year so far, and your play calling, I guess this is the first year you've called the whole game. Is this something you've developed, both the faking and the play calling, since you've come here?
Well, it is true. I didn't call all the plays since my freshman year. Since then, I have called throughout the entire game. On the faking, I know that a good fake makes the play go. If someone's fooled, there's a big hole where he leads and back to get through. To have a successful play, fakes have to be good.
John, you do the punting for the team, and that's an important part of the game. Do you have a new center on the punt, or is there a lot of practice involved in center snap on the punt?
Well, Fred Webster's our center on punts, and he does a great job. That's one thing we work on constantly because it's quite a technique, especially when you have to center back about 10 yards to get close at the same instant. And something we work on every day.
John, lots of luck to you today, and I hope we come through a real good ball game. Thanks for coming by.
All right, thank you.
This has been the WSRN pregame huddle with guests Wilbur Streams and John Summers. We'll be on next week at 1:40 before the game. And now stay tuned for Swarthmore football.
This is WSRN Swarthmore College Radio 640 on your dial. Time is now 1:50 and it's time for football. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Frank Brown, along with Mike Halpern, speaking to you from Patterson Field at Ursinus College in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. We are just moments away from the kickoff in the Swarthmore Ursinus football game. Swarthmore comes into the game with a record of 1 win, 1 tie, no losses. Ursinus is 1-1-1. Last year at Swarthmore, the Garnet eked out a 14-13 win, and 2 years ago at Ursinus, the Garnet was victorious in a romp 48-0. In the overall series of this game, Swarthmore has won 35, lost 17, and tied 2. It's a perfect afternoon for football here, sunny and mild, and the field is in good shape. It's homecoming day for Ursinus, and a large crowd of fans is on hand to cheer for the Bears. Now I'm happy to call to the WSRN microphone for the third straight year my color commentator, our own fearless prognosticator, Mike Halpern, with a probable starting lineup.
Thank you very much, Frank. For Ursinus, starting in left end, number 86, John Addick, 6'2", 185 pounds, sophomore from Greenbrook, New Jersey. At left tackle, number 72, Mike Shelley, 5'11", 195, sophomore from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. At left guard, number 61, Ed Fisher, 5'9", 180 pounds, another sophomore from Philadelphia. At center, number 51, Jack Pettis, 5'11", 175 pounds, another sophomore, from Woodstown, New Jersey. At right guard, number 66, Dick Eugenio, 5'11", 200 pounds, a junior, from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. At right tackle, one of the co-captains, number 63, Rich Baker, 5'11", 205, a senior, from Chatsworth, California. At right end, number 22, Greg Tracy, 6'1", 195, a sophomore, from Branchdale, Pennsylvania. In the backfield, at the halfback, will be number 12, Don Pamela, a sophomore, 5'9", 160, from Fairlawn, New Jersey. At the other halfback, number 20, Joe Corbeya, a freshman, 5'9", 155, from Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. At quarterback, number 10, Pete Dashill, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, from Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. And finally, at fullback, co-captain, number 31, Tony Motto, 5'8", 190 pounds, a senior, from Hazleton, Pennsylvania. And now for the Garnet. Starting at right end, number 82, Fred Montgomery, 5'11", 180 pounds, junior, from Chicago, Illinois. At right tackle, number 72, Frank Apfel, 6'2", 215, senior, from the Bronx, New York. At right guard, number 65, Steve Hamilton, 6'1", 195, a senior, from Rock Island, Illinois. At center, number 50, Fred Webster, 6'3", 195, a senior, from Tucson, Arizona. At left guard, number 60, John Stewart, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, a senior, from Rochester, New York. At left tackle, number 75, Tom Kaufman, 6'3", 215, a senior, from Andover, Massachusetts. And at left end, number 83, Taylor Coates, 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, sophomore, from Huntington, Indiana. In the backfield for the Garnet, at halfback, number 20, Rich Yeager, 6'1", 200 pounds, a senior, and the honorary co-captain today, from Toms River, New Jersey. At the other halfback, number 21, Toby Frazier, 5'9", 170 pounds, a senior, from Springfield, Pennsylvania. At fullback, number 25, Ray Sass, 6 feet tall, 210 pounds, a senior, from Espanola, New Mexico. And at quarterback, number 11, John Somerton, 6'1", 175, a junior, from Newcastle, Delaware.
Just putting on quite a pregame show here. There are twirlers, very large, colorful, well-drilled band. Swarthmore is right now on the field practicing. Ursinus has just come out of the locker room after pregame pep talk, I suppose, and they're huddled around behind one of the goalposts. It might be interesting to compare the two teams statistically going into this game. Swarthmore has the advantage. In rushing offense, Swarthmore ranks 6th in the Middle Atlantic Conference Southern College Division, picking up an average of 160.5 yards on the ground per game. Ursinus is last in this category. They're only picking up 79 yards per game. In passing offense, Swarthmore is 6th with an average of 103 yards per game. Ursinus is 8th with an average of only 58.3 yards per game. Total offense, the Garnet ranks 4th. They're rolling up 263.5 yards a game. Ursinus is last. They're only picking up 137.3 yards. And we'll see if they'll be able to go against this tough Garnet defense today. In defense, Swarthmore leads the league in rushing defense, giving up an average of only 51.5 yards per game. Ursinus is 5th in this category, giving up an average of 142.7. Passing defense, the only major category in which Ursinus leads, they're 2nd in this category. They've given up an average of 54.7 yards per game. They're going to be a tough match for John Somerton. Garnet is 7th in this category, giving up an average of 89 yards per game. And in total defense, Swarthmore leads, having yielded an average of 140.5 yards per game. Ursinus is 3rd with an average of 197.3. So we could conceivably have a pretty good defensive battle here. Swarthmore and Ursinus certainly have not been very potent in scoring so far. Swarthmore averaging only 10 points a game in 2 games. Ursinus 7.3 points per game in 3 games.
Frank, it's a beautiful day for a game. The field is in good condition. a little chewed up in the middle, and the grass is a little thick on the far side of the field. But the playing conditions are almost ideal. We should have an excellent football game. It's also an important factor in this game is the injury element for both teams. As both teams have been struck by injury to key operatives, and we'll see how deep both squads are by the performance of the men who are going to replace the starters.
As Ursinus is being introduced, the players come running through one by one between a column set up by the cheerleaders. Ursinus is dressed in gold pants, white jerseys, black numbers, black and red trim, black helmet with red trim. Swarthmore standing around in a huddle. The far sideline is in their white pants, garnet jerseys, white numbers, white trim, garnet helmet. So, if nothing else, it's going to be a very colorful game. Going back to the statistics for a moment, an individual one, Swarthmore has no one among the top 5 in rushing. This is primarily because the leadership is determined simply on total yards, not average yards per game. Swarthmore having played only 2 games, is a marked disadvantage, because everyone else in the conference, whether the directors played 3 or 4 games. In passing, John Summerton ranks 5th. He has the highest pass completion percentage, 56.4%. This 22 completions and 39 attempts, had 3 passes intercepted, all in the F&M game 2 weeks ago. He has passed for 260 yards, no touchdowns. In pass receiving, despite the fact that we have only had 2 games, Rich Yeager of the Garnet is 6th. He has caught 8 passes for 89 yards and no touchdowns. No Ursinus player ranks anywhere near the top in any of the individual categories. For Garnet, team statistics, Rich Yeager is the leading rusher. He's picked up 128 yards, 2 games, and averages 3.7 yards per carry. That little elusive Craig Martin, who had such a fantastic day against Franklin and Marshall, has upped himself to 2nd in the statistics. He's picked up 82 yards on only 13 carries. A tremendous average of 6.3 yards per carry. Captain Wilbur Stream controls 70 yards on the ground, almost all in the Dickinson game. And Toby Fraser, who is coming off the injured list to start at left half today, has been in only 1 play so far this year in which he carried the ball for 1 yard. In pass receiving, mentioned Yeager is the leader with 8. Craig Martin in second, 5 receptions, 48 yards, 3 passes, caught 4 for 11. They're having the toss the coin right now. Captains are Tony Mato, Rich Baker for Ursinus, Wilbur Stream, and honorary co-captain Rich Yeager for the Garnet. Swarthmore has won the toss. And we'll see what they have elected to do. Swarthmore will defend the goal to our left. That is their choice. Ursinus will receive. And we'll be ready to go in a moment as the teams come to the sideline. Expect the national anthem any second now, and here it is, ladies and gentlemen, from Ursinus College. with the playing of our national anthem. We are just about set to go. Two teams are out on the field. And for Ursinus, they're going to have three deep men. Number 20, Joe Corvea. Number 12, Don Camella. And number 21, Greg Adams, who we thought was on the injured list. For Swarthmore, Dick McCurdy is teeing up the ball. And this first road game for the Garnet of the year is just about underway. McCurdy is satisfied with the ball. And ref signals for play to commence, and here we go. It's a pretty good kick. Camella takes it to the 5, he's to the 10, going right up the middle. He cuts to the right to the 20, to the 25, to the 30. He's got running room, and he's nailed as he comes across the 35-yard line. We'll see where they spot the ball. It was an excellent return. Eric Blumberg is the man who finally stopped him, and they're spotting the ball on the 34-yard line, so Ursinus takes over. First and 10 on their own 34. Spot their backfield as they come out. Quarterback Pete Dashill. There's Camella at right half. In motion goes Adams. And thrown for a big loss is Camella. He loses 4 yards on the play. Mike?
Frank, on that play, John Stewart shot through a gap from his linebacker position and back to the center of the line and caught the ball carrier before he got out of his tracks. The Garnet defense right now is actually a 5-3-3, and Stewart is over the middle, and he shot right through there.
Second and 13 for Ursinus from their own 31. In motion right goes Camella. Dashill going back to pass. He's throwing long right. Camella has it past midfield, and he goes out of bounds at about the 45-yard line on the Swarthmore 44-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Bears. First and 10 on the Swarthmore 44.
Over there, Fred Montgomery, and there were coach.
Dashill bent over center. He calls the signals. He's rolling right. He's looking to pass. He's almost dropped back there, and he is snowed under back at midfield by a host of Garnet tacklers. Let's see if we can spot them as they unpile. There's Fred Montgomery, and Boole Layden seems to be pinned at the bottom. Frank Apple is also in there. Montgomery playing his first game at right side linebacker, replacing Andy Weinstein, was right on the ball on that play.
Frank, we might spot the defense. Rich Yeager is right defensive back. Wilbur Streams is playing in the middle safety. Taylor Coke is on the left side. Dick Heyman is the right outside linebacker. Here we go again.
Ball's on the 48, second and 13 for the Bears. Dashill calls the signals. In motion to the right goes Adams. Dashill is rolling right, and he is grabbed from behind, around the ankles, by Eric Blumberg. Great tackle by Blumberg. He never got a chance to get going. Another loss, a 3-yard loss for your Ursinus 49, and it'll be 3rd and 16.
Frank, the other linebackers are Stewart over the middle with Chris King, and on the outside, Fred Montgomery.
The Ursinus 49, Dashill crouches under center. He's calling his signals. Somewhat of a long count. He's going all the way back to pass from his own 40. It's a screen pass to Camella. There he goes. He's down to the 30-yard line. Fantastic screen play. The blocking set up perfectly in front of him, perfectly executed. They'll spot the ball, actually, on the 32. First down for Ursinus on the Swarthmore 32.
Frank, the Garnet shot a few linebackers even on that play, so it was a beautiful call, and only a good tackle by John Stewart in the open field saved further trouble.
From the Garnet 32, Ursinus on the move. Dashill calls the signal as Camella comes in motion left. Handoff is to Tony Motto, the fullback, trying to turn the right side. He gets nothing. Fred Montgomery is right there on the tackle, along with Wilbur Stream, shooting over from his monster position. Stop for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Frank, we might spot the rest of the defensive line is Tom Kaufman at right end, Eric Lumberg and Bula Layton in the middle, Frank Epfel on the other side.
Still on the Swarthmore 32, 2nd and 10. In motion to the left comes Camella. Camella gets the pitch out, and he goes to about the 31-yard line. Tackled by John Stewart. And Bula Layton is in there too. Tom Kaufman also got a hand on the runner to stop. We'll call it 3rd and 9 for the Bears from the Swarthmore 31. If they want this drive to continue, they'll have to come up with that big 3rd down play again. We have sideline left, running room right, flanked out to the right is Attic. The end. Back to pass goes to Chile, throwing right. No one is there. It was thrown either for Camella or Attic. It was right in between the two of them, and no one was near.
Frank, they're working on the right side of the Garnet secondary, as all their passes have been over there. But on that play, they overloaded, and there was nobody free, and Shield sort of just threw the ball between everyone. Here's a key play early in the game with a 4th down on the Garnet 31.
Shield comes out for Ursinus, and John Mills is in. He's going to punt. He's standing on his own 44. Terrible pass from center. He gets away the punt, though, going to the coffin corner. There goes the ball, and Ursinus has downed the ball on the Swarthmore 1-yard line. The strategy worked. Rich Baker, co-captain, is the man who downed that ball. Perfect strategy for the Bears. Swarthmore deep in its own territory. Flag down on the play, though. And we're waiting to see. The ball is coming back. So Ursinus must have done something wrong. Offside against Ursinus. That moves the ball back to the 36 at the line of scrimmage. Back in single safety for the Garnet is Rich Yeager standing down on his own 8-yard line. Mills will punt again this time. This time he's standing right at midfield. See if he gets a better pass from center. Yes, this one's a fine pass. Kick is almost blocked though. Yeager is going to take it on the 17. He's to the 20 and he is hit hard as he goes to the 23, and Ursinus player's helmet flies off immediately, and Rich Yeager gets a 6-yard punt return. Ball is on about the 23.5 yard line. We'll call it the 24. 1st and 10 for Swarthmore. Summerton calls the signal. In the backfield, Fraser. Toby gets the ball coming around to the right side and does not get anything. Also in the backfield are Yeager and the fullback, Ray Sass. They line up with Yeager at the right half, Fraser at the left half. John Norman is in at tight end for Fred Montgomery, who's starting on defense. Summerton calls the signals, backfield shifts right so that Yeager's flanked out right, almost on the sideline. Now Yeager comes in motion left. Handoff is to Yeager, barreling across the left tackle spot. He goes across the 25 and up to about the 28-yard line. No, it's on the 23. We've got crossed up on the yard line. Tackled by Branca. Tom Branca. We've got the yard line picked up. It's now on the 24, and it's 3rd and 5. Summerton calls the signals. Here goes Yeager in motion left. It looks like the same play, and it is. Yeager crosses the 25 just barely this time. Denny Davis and Branca again in on that tackle.
Swarthmore's in a punting situation right now, but John Summerton ran 3 running plays in which he sort of controls the defense. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he put it in the air next time.
Lumberton will be punting for the Garnet from his own 13-yard line. Adams and Camilla are back in double deep safety. Versigns the bad pass, but John gets away. Good punt is being taken on the 39 by Camilla, trying to turn the right side. He's to the midfield stripe, and just to get there, he's rocked back on a tackle by Toby Fraser. The ball will be spotted on the 49-yard line. First and 10 for the Bears, and they're almost in Garnet territory again. They have good field position. In motion right goes Adams. Handoff is to Motto. Oh, and he is rocked back hard. Back to past the 47. Tackle is by John Stewart. They call it no gain.
Frank, Joe Thornton just came in the game at right end. Crowd reaction as Stewart had him low, and he was just hanging there, and Thornton made a big leap and crumpled everyone on that play.
Second and 10 for the Bears from their own 49-yard line. In the backfield again, Camilla, Motto, and Adams. Here goes Adams again in motion right. Camilla gets the ball, trying to turn the left side from the shell. He slips, loses his footing, goes down on about the 48-yard line. Nobody had to touch him.
Frank, Tom Kaufman made good penetration on that play and forced Camilla to try a big touch, and his feet got caught and he fell down.
It'll be third down and 11 to go for the Bears from their own 48-yard line. They come out of the huddle. Still comes to the center. And calling the signals. Adams is on the left side. Camilla flanked out right. Handoff to Motto going up the middle on the draw. Across midfield down to the Swarthmore 47-yard line. Tackle on the play, Frank Apple. And the ball's on the Swarthmore 47, 4th and 6. Yeager drops back in single safety at about his own 20. Mills will punt for the Bears from his own 39-yard line. Snap to center is perfect. Kick is away. It's coming to the near sideline, and it's going to stop dead. It's down, actually, on the 22-yard line. Down by Rich Baker once again.
Frank, I think you'll see John Summerton open up a little bit because he called fairly conservative plays in the first series. So we'll see.
John sets from 22, reading the backfield left to right. It's Fraser, Sass, Yeager. The backfield shifts right. Yeager is flanked out right. And handoff is to Fraser. Toby gets maybe a yard before he's wrestled down by a host of people, led by freshman Jack Mathis. They'll give him 1 yard on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Garnet from the 23.
They're very proud of their defense here at Ursinus, and they have several freshmen, Branca and Matheson and Mike Mangan at end, that have been doing a great job for them this season.
Summerton bends over center, calls the signals again in the backfield, makes it shift to the right. Handoff this time, no handoff, a perfect fake and free as Taylor Copey receives it on the 39-yard line, and he's up to the Ursinus 45. Perfect faking to Ray Sass. Everyone went for Sass. Tom Rohde finally brings it down the last man between Copen and the goal line.
Frank, John set that up beautifully with that fake, and he had Pope isolated on one man. It was a beautiful execution.
Swarthmore has on the Ursinus 46. Summerton sets. He hands to Yeager, going around the left side. Yeager to midfield. He's to the 40-yard line of Ursinus and goes out of bounds. Very strong run by Yeager. Joe Corbea and Branca once again are the men responsible for running them out, and they'll spot it on the 42.5 yard line of Ursinus. 1st and 10 for the Garnet, and they're on the move. Summerton calls and signals to Yeager off the left tackle spot. He's to the 35 and down to the 32-yard line. Playing tremendous power on that. The first down for the Garnet. Well, it goes all the way to the 31 to the 30-yard line.
On that play, Ursinus shot a linebacker, and he came bombing in the Garnet backfield, and Rich Yeager was just going the other way. It was like revolving doors. It was a good call, and Yeager is running very strongly here in the first period.
Now they spot the ball in the 31. Ursinus has called timeout. It's interesting to note that reception by Taylor Cope was the first of the year. He was all alone at one in the F&M game at the goal line, but a pass was just overthrown. But Taylor really did it this time. He's going to have to take up a little bit more of the slack than usual because Dick Kamen can't play all the way at left hand. Usually they alternate. Report the number of minutes left in the first quarter to you. There doesn't seem to be a scoreboard clock. I hope this isn't one of those close games that goes down to the last second because we won't know when we're at the last second. One of the Ursinus 31, Summerton calls the signal. This time the backfield shifts left, putting Fraser on the outside. The handoff is to middleman. Looks like Ray Sass. Ray gets down to the 30-yard line, and that's all. Tackle on the play by Ursinus number 72, Mike Shelley.
Ursinus is now committing their safety man more towards 87, Dick Kamen on the left flank. You might see Summerton come right on this play.
2nd and 9 for the Garnet from the 30-yard line. Yeager flanks right. Now he's in motion left. The handoff goes to Yeager around the left side to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, still on his feet. Inside the 15-yard line. Tremendous rushing by Rich Yeager.
Frank, he had a pretty clear pass as Garnet, especially with Summerton's ball handling and the blocking, is opening up a big pass for him.
Ball is spotted directly on the 15, 1st and 10 for the Garnet. Summerton calls the signal, takes snap and center and hands to Yeager. Going through the off tackle spot, he's down to the 5-yard line and perhaps just inside the 5. The first and goal for the Garnet on the 4.
Frank, you could see the power of Rich Yeager on that play. He was tackled head-on by number 24, Tom Rohde, and Rohde was very slow in getting up. Rich ran right into him. Fine run again.
Summerton calls the signal. Handoff this time for a touchdown to Rich Yeager. Once again, he's going over the right guard spot, and he falls in with a touchdown. This drive is all Rich Yeager, and the Garnet leads 6-0 at some point in the first quarter. The drive took 7 plays, covered 78 yards. And McCurdy will kick. Mike O'Neill will hold. Try for the extra point. Kick is up and good. Swarthmore leads 7-0. Drive got underway on the Swarthmore 22-yard line as Summerton threw to Taylor Cope 23 yards. Thereon, with the exception of a 1-yard punch by Ray Sass, Rich Yeager went the rest of the way. He carried 54 yards in only 5 carries. And I can't say enough about Rich Yeager.
Frank, we might call off the players on this kickoff. Reading from the near side is Lyle Snyder, then Craig Martin, Tom Kaufman, Bula Layton, John Stewart, Wilbur Stream, Eric Lumberg, Wilbur Stream, John Stewart, the kicker, McCurdy. On the far side, Chris King, and here's the kick.
36 is a good long one. Camella on the 5. He's to the 10, to the 15. He cuts right again to the 25-yard line. And he's fouled up just short of the 25, or perhaps on it. Tom Coffin was one person I saw in on the tackle. There's quite a pile of Garnet players. The ball will be spotted actually on the 24. First and 10 for the Bears on their own 24.
Frank, the Garnet is going back to Kaufman at end and Kamen at linebacker, where Joe Thornton was in last time at the end.
Yeager streams his coat from the secondary for the Garnet. Shields calls his signals as Adams goes in motion right. Handoff is to Camella, going off the left tackle spot. He's across the 25 to about the 26 or 27 yard line. Tackle on the play by Boole. Call the ball on the 27, making it 2nd and 7 for the Bears. Shield set as Miller comes in motion left. Handoff is to fullback Tony Motto, and Motto goes to about the 28 or 29 yard line, going right over center. It goes 1 yard to the 28, where it will be 3rd and 6. Tackle again by Bull Layden. Blumberg got in on the play also.
Frank, we may see they're trying to go back to that pass. Probably on the right flat.
Let's see, Mac. The Shield calls the signal. Camella comes in motion left. He's looking for Camella at the left side, and Don has it. It's a 35-yard line. He's across the 37, and a flag goes down. May see a personal foul against the Garnet coming up here, and that's what it's going to be. Personal foul on John Stewart. Unnecessary piling on, and the ball goes all the way to Swarthmore, 48-yard line, 1st and 10.
Frank, that's what every quarterback likes to do, is put a back like Camella on the linebacker, Kamen, and just play catch with him.
Maddox out wide to the right. The Shield calls signal from Swarthmore, 48. He goes straight back to pass. He's got good protection, and the pass is intercepted by Kamen at the 45. He's across midfield and out of bounds at the Swarthmore 48-yard line. It went right to Kamen.
Frank, that time he didn't count on the fact that Rich Kamen can jump up in the air and play football also, and Rich made a fine interception and returned it into Ursinus territory on the 48.
1st and 10 for the Garnet, and here we go again. Summerton sets backfield the same as before, and chips right, putting Yeager to the right outside. Summerton hands off to Fraser, the last man through. Someone got a hand on his ankle, and he stumbles forward to about the 47-yard line. It was Dick Miller that tripped him up. No gain at all. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Garnet. And the first quarter has just ended. The ball is very conveniently placed on the 48-yard line, so they don't have to move it very far. Swarthmore seems to have a tradition of that. I'd say about 8 out of every 9 times it seems the quarter ends with the ball within a couple yards of midfield. I think it must be planned that way in advance.
Frank, so far the running plays with Toby Frazier have been piled up pretty well, but as you heard on the pregame show, John said that the Sonics does pile up the middle very well. What Rich Yeager has gone outside the tackle exceptionally well, and that's been the punch for the Garnet. You might mention, though, that Dick Kamen made an excellent defensive play as he was fooled by Camella on the play before and came back, take that ball out of the air, and give the Garnet a chance to put another 7 points on the scoreboard. Back in the 2nd quarter now.
Okay, from the 48-yard line, Yeager goes out to the right, Keller, Toby split left, Summerton hands the Fraser, turning the right side. Toby again gets nowhere. That was the same play as before. It might have even lost an inch or two. It'll be 3rd and 10, right where they started at the 48.
The Ursinus defense seems to be a 5 or actually a 4-4-3, very similar to ours.
Once again, from the 48, 3rd and 10 for the Garnet. Backfield, usual shift to the right. Here comes Yeager in motion left. And Summerton fakes the pass, throws the screen to Yeager, cross midfield to the 44-yard line of the Bears. And that was the pickup actually of only 4 yards. Actually, they're putting it on the 45, so it's a pickup of only 3. 4th and 7 for the Garnet.
That play was very similar to the Camilla play that the Sonics worked on the last series, but Rich had about 3 fellas who were waiting for him and he couldn't get too far.
John Summerton set to punt for Swarthmore from his own 44-yard line. Double safety Adams and Canella for the Bears. Standing on their own 15. Summerton's punt is away. Canella takes it onto the 11. He's coming to the right side, and he gets to about the 12-yard line before being racked up. Steve Hamilton is the man who is responsible for stopping that return. Return of 1 yard, and they're trying to take over on their 12. 1st and 10. Camella showed a lot of lateral motion on the plays. He ran almost the entire width of the field, all for 1 yard. Set to the Bears. Schill is going back to pass. 3 on the right side was Attic, but the ball was thrown nowhere near him. Actually, it was thrown very close to Taylor Cope, who might have intercepted.
Actually, Frank, I think that was for 12 Miller coming out of the backfield to the right side instead of the left. Again, similar play to what they're working on this team, except this is Montgomery's side.
At any rate, Attic seems to be about on the 30-yard line. He was waving frantically for the ball, but it never came. 2nd and 10 for the Bears from their own 12. The Schill calls the signal, going right back to pass again. Here's the same play to Camella. Don has on the 25, and that's where he's down. Actually caught it on about the 23-yard line. Tackled by Taylor Cope and by Wilbur Stream. But that gives the Bears a 1st down on their own 25. The play picks up 13 yards.
Bears obviously found a play that's working well for them, as he does have an awful lot of room on the near sideline coming out of the halfback front. Garnet staying in their 4-4-3% so far.
Bears have it. 1st and 10 on their own 25. Camella in motion to the right all the way to the sideline. Handoff is to Motto. And the fullback gets nothing. Stopped by Chris King, coming over from his linebacker spot, and it will be 2nd and 10.
That was a good play by Chris, as it was a good ball by the Sonic quarterback. He came back with a counter play over the middle with motion towards the left, and Chris, as a middle linebacker, came in and plugged the gaps very well.
Dashill calls the signal. Handoff is to Camille, the last man through, and I think he may have lost the yard on the play. He was really wiped out there. On the tackle, getting up slowly, is Eric Blumberg. They say his forward progress reached the line of scrimmage, so it will be 3rd and 10 to the Bears from their 25-yard line. Adams, slot on the left side. Dashill goes straight back. He's looking to throw, and now he's going to run. He's to the 30. No, he isn't. He's to the 28. Tackles on the play by Taylor Cope and Chris King. No one was free, so he ran what looked very much like a quarterback draw play. So right through the middle of the line, he got to the 28. 4th down.
That was a passing situation, and the Garnet defense knew it. And the line put up excellent rush. He had no time to do anything except run for his life.
Mills will be punting from his own 14-yard line. Yeager, single safety for the Garnet at his own 43. Very low pass from center, but he gets the punt away. It's a really good one. Yeager takes it back on the 30. Then he goes to the right side. He's to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to midfield, and he's nailed with an ankle tackle by number 51, Jack Titus. Plays center on the offensive line. They say that he reached the 48-yard line of the Bears, where the Garnet takes over 1st and 10. Good run back by Yeager. A 22-yard return. On the 48-yard line, here we go. Kamen out on the left side. Handoff. Handoff to Toby Fraser. Goes off tackle down to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Jack Matheson. And again, that freshman, Tom Brank, who seems to be in on almost all these tackles. Ball's on the 45. 2nd down. 7 to go for the Garnet. Rich Yeager goes off for the Garnet. Let's see who is in his place. Can't seem to spot him. But Thurman goes back. It was number 23, Craig Martin, who got it. And he takes the ball around the left side to the 42-yard line. Wrestled down by Tom Rohde, number 24. So you give up a little bit of weight when you put Martin in for Yeager, but it was a pretty good run down to the 42-yard line, 3rd and 4.
That was a similar play to the one that Yeager's been running for good yardage, but he started sweeping to the left side, and Craig ran well on the play.
Martin still in there. Somebody's called signal 43. Big 3rd down play here. Martin now flanked out to the right. And he comes in motion left just as Yeager has been doing. The handoff is to Martin, trying to turn the left side. He's across the 40 and to the 37-yard line. Tackle on the play around the ankles by number 73, Marty Baldwin. 1st down for the Garnet. He got the yardage, plus an extra half a yard, and the ball is now on the 37-yard line, 1st and 10.
John Summers has been doing an interesting thing. He's on the near sideline. He's been running his plays back to the near side. He's got a whole open field on the right side.
And once again, Martin coming to the left side. This time he's tripped up for a loss back at the 39, again by Marty Baldwin. And this time, the lack of running room on that side seems to tell us they boxed him in there. Going off is Dick Kamen in his Tyler Coates to replace him at split end.
John has the defense now moving a little bit to the right with him. We'll see what he does with that.
Again, we have sideline left, running room right, backfield shifts to the left. Summerton, the long count. And to Martin, he fumbles the ball, and Ursinus has it on the 41. Let's see who got it. Who was it? Marty Baldwin. No, Denny Davis. Marty Baldwin fell on top of it, but Denny Davis got the ball on the 41-yard line. Ursinus takes over 1st and 10.
That might have been a double reverse play. Toby. But it was a good call, and too bad they fumbled on the handoff.
Craig never seems to have the handle on it. Ursinus set out of the huddle. The shell calling signals from his own 41. In motion left goes Camella. Back he goes to pass, and he throws short over the middle. Incomplete. The nearest person to it were Chris King and Wilbur Streams with the Garnet. May have been intended for Adams to receive across the center.
Had a short receiver about 5 yards over the line of scrimmage, but recovered by the Garnet. Stewart was on him, and then Chris King and Wilbur were right there, and I think he did a wide play by missing everybody.
Adams is out right near the near sideline as Camella goes in motion left to Chill. Goes back, he's looking, he's going to throw long for Adams, and it's almost intercepted. The ball's incomplete on the 25-yard line. Adams battling with Wilbur Streams for the ball, and it looks like if anyone was going to catch it, it was going to be Wilbur. Wilbur right on him. So it'll be 3rd and 10 of the Garnet. Third and 10 still from the 41-yard line. Again, Addicks out on the right side, and again, Camella in motion left. The shell goes back to pass. He's looking, the rush is on, and he is not nailed. He's running, and he's knocked out now on the sideline at the 43-yard line by Fred Montgomery. Thornton and Apple had a shot out of back around the 30-yard line, but he escaped from them, but he didn't get that far. He didn't quite make it back to the 40, and it'll be on the 38-yard line. 4th and 13 of Huntington. No, 4th and 4th and 13, yes, punting situation. Yeager back in single safety for the Garnet on his own 24-yard line. Bill, the punt from his own 22 for the Bears. Snap to center is perfect. The kick is away, and it's another good punt. Yeager has to back all the way to his 14 to take it, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, and finally knocked down number 86, Jack Addix, the man who knocked him down. Ball is now on the 28-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Garnet.
With the Garnet leading 7-0, Frank, that was a beautiful kick. If he had had a short kick, Garnet again would have been near the middle of the field in good scoring position, but that was probably one of the best kicks we've seen in 3 years.
From the 28, 1st and 10, Summerton spins on the center, and he's calling a signal backfield. Skips to the left. And Summerton has the ball. He throws complete to Toby Fraser across the 30 on the far sideline, and he goes up to the 35-yard line. Jack Addix and linebacker Ed Fisher on the tackle.
John Connor went to the right side on that play, and he got some yardage on it. I would think he would start going to the air a little bit more than this year.
We have 2nd and 3 from the 35-yard line. Summerton hands to Yeager. Yeager barrels across about the 37. He's near a 1st down, but I don't think he has enough. It's a 3rd and 1 from 37. Think Jones going to want to gamble on this play or go for the 1st down of the power play, Mike?
Well, he's going to stay on the ground, but this is a beautiful spot to gamble if he wants to.
3rd and 1 from the 37, a big play here. Summerton is staying on the ground. As he hands to Yeager around the left side, he has the 1st down and more. As he goes to the 40-yard line, he's stopped by number 20, Joe Corbea. And Ed Fisher's also in there.
I'd like to point out on that play, Rick Yeager was requiring slanting. He was hit once, and then he was hit right where the ball, where he's turning the ball, and he almost lost it, but like a good carrier, he held on to it and covered it and got the 1st down.
Garner has the 1st and 10 to the 40. Yeager is flanked out to the right, put out left. Summerton rolling right, and he almost pulled down for a loss. Now he's running for his life as he's to the 35, to the 40, and down on the 42-yard line by number 73, Marty Baldwin, and number 24, Tom Brody. And John was really in trouble there. He almost got down on some 30.
John was a little shaken up on the play as they hit him hard. Going over to the far sideline, taking off his helmet. And Dick Mallett right now is taking him over to the bench. Let's see what's going on. I think it's the face, probably.
Wilberton is talking to substitute quarterback Mike O'Neill just in case. It was Thornton that made sure that he got John out of there without any risk of an injury. And here comes Mike O'Neill into the game for the Garnet. Also in John Stewart. And Eric Blumberg is going to leave. So we're going to have a new quarterback here. We worked on Summerton at the left side of the bench. He's just sitting there. I hope it's nothing serious. That's just shaken up a bit.
That looks like his leg, Frank, or whatever it is. Either shoulders or the chest or the face. You can't tell, but plays back in there.
Certainly attracting a lot of attention. 2nd and 8 for the Garnet from 42-yard line. And handoff is to Fraser. Fraser across midfield and to the Ursinus 47-yard line as he goes over right tackle. 1st down for the Garnet.
That was a good run by Toby. He followed his block in, he saw a little opening and scooted through it. Good carry. And this is on another 1st down.
I think the ref will give a 4-minute warning. Okay, we have 4 minutes left in the half. The Garnet lead 7-0. Swarthmore setting at the line of scrimmage. Ref signal for play to continue. Mike O'Neill calls the signal, goes back, and he hands to Fraser on the right side. The last man through, he goes to about the 46 or 45 yard line, tackled by Dick Miller. Ball will be spotted on the 45, gain of 2, 2nd and 8 to Garnet on the Ursinus 45, and they'd like to score once more before the half. Out of the huddle comes the Garnet. Mike O'Neill follows the signal. He's going back to throw, and he throws long on the right side, and this is complete. Intended for Fred Montgomery, and he really got clobbered just as he reached for the ball. Someone almost tore his head off his shoulder, and he couldn't hang on to it, so it will be 3rd and 8 for the Garnet from the 45. The pass was thrown on the right sideline at about the 30-yard line. Backfield shift right, Yeager flanked out right, Cope split out left. O'Neill goes back and on a draw, straight back, running across the 40 to about the 39-yard line, where it's tripped up by Jack Adams.
Good call by O'Neill. With the face intercepting situation. He gave the ball to Sass, who hasn't seen too much action today, and Ray went up the middle very well. Chris King now comes into the offensive lineup.
4th and 3 for Swarthmore on the Ursinus 40. They're going to punt, and who is that? That's O'Neill who's going to punt. Punt is away, and it's down to 15, and Garner's waiting down the ball, and they do on about the 10-yard line. That's the first time we've seen anyone other than John Summers in a punt in 3 years, Mike.
Well, Frank, Mike got the job done as the ball is down on the 10, and there was no return possible on that kick. I'm curious to know if Summers will come back into the ball. And what time is the long? Let all of you know if we can get word at that time.
Actually, we're going to call the ball on the 9-yard line. The Shill calls the signal, and he's rolling to the right side and down on about the 11-yard line. Wilbur Streams was right in there, and so was Bull late. Gives the Shill a gain of 2 yards to the 11.
Excellent play by Bula Layton as he stacked up the interference and still hit the ball carrier in the legs and sent him on his way down. Good individual defensive play on the left side. So far today, Frank has been the defense we saw last year. They've been charging very hard.
From the 11-yard line, the Shill has the team set, calls the signals, and he ends up on a double reverse to Camilla around the left side, and he crossed the 15 to about the 20-yard line and rolled out of bounds. He was forced out by Wilbur Stream. That was a double reverse, a handoff first to Adams and then to Camilla coming around the left side, and that's enough for a first down. That's the 20-yard line. First and 10. The Shill set for the Bears. In motion left goes Camilla. And it's the pass out of the right flat overthrown, intended for Jack Adams.
That was a logical call on the play. He had the whole right side of the field, but Fred Montgomery and Taylor Cope were waiting there, and still, whether intentionally or not, threw that ball far away. It was a dangerous play because Marty has 2 men there, and he could have gone very easily 7 points the other way if he'd underthrown.
Cope, Dreams, and Yeager still in the Garnet secondary, reading left to right. That Shill calling the signals, going back to pass, rolling right, and he throws now to Camilla on the 30-yard line, and he's down right there. Tackled by Cope.
On that play, Maxwell and Layton were putting on pressure. The quarterback rolled out to the right sideline. Now Montgomery was on Camilla. So So what he did was come up and try and get the quarterback. Quarterback stopped and threw the ball out there. And he got a first down. Good ball and good play.
First and 10 for Ursinus from their own 32-yard line. There can't be too much left in the half. The Shill calling the signals again. He hands off. It's again a double reverse. This time Camille is trying to throw, and he has rushed too hard. He was intending it for Tom Branca, incomplete.
Fred Montgomery set that whole play up for Ursinus. Still had no time. Fred was in on him and hit him very hard as he threw the ball.
Again, that double reverse play for the pass at the end. Now, I remember Ursinus doing that for very good yardage one play against last year to set up a touchdown. And it seems like it's the same play. Third and 10 from the 32. Shill calls the signal, and he throws quickly to the right side, complete to Addix. Addix goes up the sideline to the 40, where he is stopped by Taylor Coates. Trying to call time, so he must be getting pretty near the half. There's the possibility of maybe coming up with one play that would put them deep in Tornado territory. Fourth and 3 from the 40-yard line.
An interesting halftime show in the store for us as keep off the field because a helicopter is coming in. Class of 70 right now is lined up with their bees on the sideline waiting for halftime to play. There's a big balloon across the way, class of 70. Two fellas in it had trouble holding it down. With my boots and them, class of 70 to take it off. Motivated forming now, as this is their homecoming. So, alright, Ursinus is going to punt. Back to you, son.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Mills will punt from his 25. Yeager is standing single safety at his own 30. And again, it's a tremendous punt. Yeager takes it on the 28, hesitates for a minute to the 30, to the 31. Give him a 3-yard return. There wasn't much we could do there, as he was nailed by Canella. And 63, Rich Baker.
Might add that fellow Baker, who's the co-captain of this team, covers punt awfully well. He's the first one down there all the time.
Garnet has his first and 10 time as running balls on their 31-yard line. And time seems to have run out, or is that a delay of game penalty, or what? Time calls for timeout. Wonder how much we have left in the half. What is the strategy behind this timeout?
Well, I think that Ursinus is figuring that Michael Hill is the first action quarterback. And if they can play good, solid defense for 3 downs, they might be able to get the football back. Unfortunately, we don't know how much time is left, but it must be a minute and a half, I would take a guess. In fact, if somebody is hurt, it might change the whole strategy of this game around. Because with John's safety and the threat of this passing, was boosting up the defense a little, but we'll see what Mike O'Neill can do.
From the 31, O'Neill set to call signal. He goes back, hands off to Fraser. The last man around the right side, Toby, goes across the 35 up to about the 39-yard line. Toby running well now. Matheson tackles him, and Dick Miller is also in on the stop. Ball is on the 39-yard line. Pick up on the 40. Pick up a 9. 2nd and 1.
The linebackers, so they had 4 deep safeties, and Mike O'Neill had a running play to the right side, and they had a little extra room because one of the linebackers was dropping off.
As the Ursinus cheerleaders band lead a rousing cheer, Garnet comes out of the tunnel. Yeager flanked out right, Kemp split out left, and the handoff goes to across the 40. And he goes 3 yards to the 42. And that's the first down for the Garnet. And that's the end of the first half with a score. Swarthmore 7, Ursinus nothing. We'll have the halftime summaries for you in a moment. The official statistics we'll have after we come back here at halftime. Swarthmore had one big drive that resulted in the touchdown. That was highlighted by Rich Yeager's running. The drive that covered 78 yards in 8 plays, and 6 of those plays were carried by Yeager. One was a 23-yard pass play to Taylor Cook, and one was a 1-yard run by Ray Sass. Yeager finally went over from the 5-yard line, and that's it really for a sustained offense for Swarthmore this half. Ursinus, the only offense really that Ursinus had was when they took the opening kickoff and moved from the 35 down to the Swarthmore 31 for being stopped. A helicopter has just landed on the field, and the halftime show is beginning. Why don't we let Mike tell you a little bit about it?
Well, Frank, they just came out. 2 members of the class of 70 are just leaving the helicopter. Along with the Ursinus there, they're meeting the other 2 carrying a big balloon. They're coming towards us here on the near sideline. And there goes the helicopter. Quite a show. Motorcade is starting from the far side, and here comes the balloon. Nobody's saying a word. They obviously have something planned. Big sign says class of 70, says Centennial Fund, roll on. Well, Swarthmore has already had it.
That looks like the motorcade for the homecoming queen, much as ours was. There's a big sign up in front of it. Class of 70 says Centennial Fund, roll on. Helicopter makes another pass at the field. There are little red balls being thrown all around the stand. And this is quite a wild halftime show. We're having a hailstorm of little red balls right outside. You may hear them bouncing on top of the press box on the windows and such. And with all the gaiety going on, I think this will be as good a time as any to send you back to the studio for a few moments of halftime entertainment. So that's it for the WSRN first half coverage of the Swarthmore Ursinus football game. Don't go away, because we're going to be back with the second half of today's game in exactly 8 minutes.
This is Big Time Radio at Swarthmore College, WSRN 640 AM.
Now for a little halftime music in the football vein, here's the University of Michigan Marching Band with some football sounds. This is WSRN in the studio, returning you now to Ursinus with Frank Brown at the football game. Take it away, Frank.
Hello again, everyone. This is Frank Brown along with Mike Halpert back at Ursinus, where it's halftime in the Swarthmore Ursinus football game. Halftime score is Swarthmore 7 and the Bears of Ursinus 0. They've had the introduction of the homecoming queen and her court here, much as they did at Swarthmore, except here each girl represents a fraternity. And it was a very well-organized and full program. We're going to have official statistics in just 1 second, so bear with us.
Right now, the sun is there and come over to the place of homecoming. Very British people. And the technical system are up. I guess each class will go down to each class. We all have regular about 15 people with cameras in the pictures everybody knows about. Very happy homecoming.
Okay, they've just come through. These are official. In first down, the Garnet has 8, Ursinus 6. Rushing yardage, Swarthmore 106, Ursinus 17. Passing yardage, Garnet has 34, Ursinus has 87. Swarthmore's only tried 4 passes, completed 3 of them. It seemed like more than that. Ursinus is 6 for 13. While we're waiting for the teams to make their reappearance tonight, we might comment on some of the other important games of the Middle-Atlantic Conference race. This conference has a new setup this year as far as one loss percentage. We have 1 win and 1 tie, 2 outings. We no longer have a 1,001 loss percentage. We did in the past. We have a 750 loss percentage. It's printed as 1 1/2 wins, 2 outings. Only Drexel was undefeated and 1-0.
Right, that's the whole memory. Set up and down, but last year I don't think that was the same. We had it down 20 1.
No, last year it was 6-1-0 last year. We were 6-1. But I think the whole thing is not just the top one completely. Never heard anything like this before. Actually, the big game is they decided this one involves Northern leaders. The defense allowed only 2 touchdowns in 5 games playing at Drexel. And if Drexel can beat Wilkes, it's hard to see anyone else can beat Drexel. PNC is the toughest of the remaining teams Drexel has played, and the others, I believe the old version is Valley. They should probably be able to roll over. So we have to be rooting real hard for Wilkes right now. If we want to retain the title, we just need a helping hand because we never played Drexel.
They are a strong team and they do have a very tight defensive dimension. So I think hang on and win this one and go on. Should win once more. It's a very happy homecoming. Not from the football game, but just from the social aspect here, as everybody is remembering this or that. Frank, there's a big trophy out near the middle of the field. Do you have any idea who they're going to award it to or for what?
Yeah, you're right. There's a big trophy out there, Mike. No, I don't know what it's for, but it looks like they may need a couple of people to lift it. Here it is. Why don't you read it off, Mike?
As far as I can tell, this is the Kenneth E. Walker Memorial Trophy, presented by one of the fraternities here to the outstanding player or players on the Ursinus squad who, by virtue of the sportsmanship and athletic ability shown in the annual homecoming game, is chosen by the coaching staff to receive this award. This Walker Memorial Trophy memoriam of Marine Power is Kenneth Walker, who was killed in a plane crash over Texas in November of 1956. And each year they award it to the outstanding player in this homecoming game. Last year was David Rowell. Remember him, Frank? He's an excellent football player.
Yeah, he gave us a couple of fits turning the corners in the game last year. And needless to say, those of you who were there know there were many anxious moments. Mike might also comment here on the wonderful hospitality we've been given here in the press box. Just as was the case 2 years ago, we have received coffee and ham and cheese sandwiches at halftime, and this sort of thing is very necessary to keep the old voices rolling along in the second half. So we'd like to thank Bud Templeton, the director of sports publicity here at Ursinus College, for his cooperation here.
I think what we'll see in the second half is Chilla throwing to Pamela and whoever else spring free. Ursinus started to get wide open in the latter part of the second quarter, and I think this will continue because Garner's defensive line is piling up their running plays, and they will, I think, increasingly go for wide plays and for pass plays. On the other hand, I think the Garnet may go back to just a straight ground game in the second half, depending on the condition of John Summers. We've received no word as to how John is or how serious the injury he incurred late in the half is. But what do you think? Do you think the Garnet will stay on the ground and try and eat up the clock and just protect their one touchdown lead and try and get another one? Or will we see some disaster, Frank?
Well, of course, a lot depends on whether John Summers is going to come back into the game. If he does, I think that we'll probably go to the air a little, maybe try to up the lead to 2 touchdowns, because, I mean, when you're protecting a 1-touchdown lead, any little mistake, bad pass from center on a punt, for instance, or something like that can conceivably cost you a game. Remember, they have the 2-point conversion rule, so if Ursinus managed to score just 1 touchdown, they could conceivably win an 8-7 decision. On the other hand, if Mike O'Neill's in at quarterback, I don't think that we'll take any chances. Not saying anything against O'Neill, of course, but it's just a little bit inexperienced. And the way Rich Yeager's been running, we'll probably keep going with him and Toby Fraser.
Might say that the Garnet defense played an excellent game anytime you shut out somebody for a half. They're playing well, but they have really dominated their Ursinus offensive unit, and only Pamela's individual brilliance has gained yards for them. I'd say that Dick Heyman, coming off a bad knee, has played a good linebacker. Fred Montgomery has made a few mistakes for a fellow playing in his first game at the corner spot. And the defensive line is charging very hard with Apfeld, Thornton, Blumberg, Layton, Kaufman in the middle.
At the moment, I'm looking through my glasses at the Garnet team, which has just come out of the locker room to warm up for the second half. And I'm looking for John Summers, and the Major's been, oh, there he is. There he is. He's the only one standing up. I was going to say I didn't see him. The Major's been on blind, but now everyone else is down, and John is standing up, so he stands up like a sore thumb.
Frank, I think there was also another slight injury in the first half. Eric Blumberg has been walking very slowly with a slight limp. He might have hurt his leg in the first half. That's an important injury also, because Eric is in the heart of the
It looks like John has bandage on his face, probably on his nose. My comment at halftime, it might be a broken nose. Of course, we can't know up here, but that is where the bandage is. And we'll have to see whether he's able to start. Both teams are now by their respective sidelines huddled around their coaches, receiving some last-minute information. Of course, anything can happen in a 7-0 game. All it takes is one big play. We might mention, I think Ray Sass has only carried about 2 times in the entire game. Out go the captains for the start of the second half to go through the formality of assigning goals and who is to receive. I see the captains are the same ones as they had in the first half.
That's peculiar, Frank.
Isn't it? Oh, again. Against Swarthmore is defending the goal to our left, and time to receive again. So this is just the way the second half started. Maybe it'll go the same way and we'll win 14-0.
Let's hope so. Let's see if we can call the Garnet kick unit here. These special units are very important. You know, from last year we made great use of kick unit on returns, and part of that is good blocking, good teamwork on the kick unit. And good coverage is essential. On the far side is Taylor Cope, along with Rich Yeager covering the far sideline. Chris King next. Dick McCurdy is going to kick. Then comes John Stewart, Wilbur Smeens in the middle, along with Eric Blumberg.
Deep to receive for Ursinus, our joke for Don Camilla, Greg Adams. McCurdy kicks Adams, takes it, he fumbles the ball on the 10-yard line, and it rolls out of bounds there. So it looks like that's where Ursinus is going to take over. A good break for the Garnet.
Good thing that ball rolled out of bounds, especially Joe Kelly, number 63, in on the kick unit, was closing in pretty fast.
In motion to the left comes Camilla for Ursinus to show. Hands off to Motto, and he goes across the 15-yard line, and he'll spot it right on the 15, where it'll be 2nd down and 5 to go. Motto went over right between right guard and right tackle on that play, and they'll take those 5-yard runs anytime they can get them. 2nd and 5 from the 15. Deschelle calls the signals. He is hands off to Camilla around the left end, and Camilla is right near the 20 and 1st down. He's about half a yard, called a yard away on the 19, 3rd and 1.
Tom Kaufman and Dick Heyman piled it up as he tried to go around the right side. He's a very dangerous runner, Camilla, the halfback, and they did a good job on that play. Crucial 3rd down play.
Right, Mike. The show set under center, calls off the signals, and hands off to Adams. And he may have gotten it as he busts across the middle. Let's see. It all depends where the rest decides to spot this ball. I don't think so.
What happened on that was Bula Leighton held, and then number 60 John Stewart, number 29 Wilbur Smeens, who was running up from the safety position, belted it back and stopped him short of the 1st down. Good defensive play.
4th and about half a yard to go. Mills will punt from his own 5. Yeager waits a single safety at the Ursinus 48. Kick is away, and again it's a good one. Yeager takes it right at midfield, and he is downed immediately at the 48-yard line. Excellent tackle by number 66, Dick DiEugenio. There's a flag down, thrown way back on the 8-yard line, and the Ursinus player goes back to pick it up. Oh, no. Roughing the kicker is called against the Garnet. Ursinus gets the ball 1st and 10 on the 35. And that has to be disappointing to the Garnet because they were about to take over with very good field position. 1st and 10 to the Bears on their own 35-yard line. Motion right goes Camilla. And the show keeps it, goes right up the middle, flag goes down. The show goes up to the 40, to the 39-yard line.
That was illegal motion in the backfield for Ursinus, so the Garner gets 5 yards back on this play. They take the penalty. The referee's talking it over with Stewart, and they're going to take the 5 yards.
So it'll be first and 15 from the 30-yard line. Ball is spotted directly in the middle of the field at the 30-yard line. Camella goes in motion to the right. Camella rolls right, and now he's going to run. He's across the 35 to the 40 and across the 40 near the right sideline at about the 42-yard line. And it's spotted on the 42. Tackle is by Poole-Layton. And so it will be second down and 3 to go. We'll give it a gain of 12. Now in motion, left comes Camilla. He's a busy man. He's in motion on every play. Again, a quarterback keeper by DeShill. He goes to about the 44-yard line. And that's where they put it down, 3rd and 1 at the 44. This would be a good time for the Garner to hold, Mike.
Sure would. The ball is on near the right sideline on the far side of the field. 3rd and 1. Ursinus does not run well up the middle, and he has this whole sideline. We'll see what the show calls.
Sideline right, running from left. 3rd and 1 for Ursinus on their own 44-yard line. There's Camilla in motion again to the left, and handoff to Motto going around the right. He has, well, no, I guess he doesn't. Or does he? Yes, he does. He has the first down. He just got it. Hard to tell. There's a big pile-up, and they'll put the ball right down on the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bears. The people with the chains seem a little bit reluctant to move them as they keep standing there. The referee keeps motioning 1st down. Now they catch on what's going on. The ref blows the whistle to call time. Does Swarthmore ask for measurement, or? No, here we go. From the 45-yard line, DeShill calls the signal. And he's going back to pass. Throws down the right sideline. Complete. Tomato. And there he goes. He is going to go all the way. Touchdown. Ursinus. Don Camella, rather. Not Mata. He caught it on the right sideline at about the 36-yard line. Taking that pass to DeShill, and he just raced right down the sideline, streaked past the Swarthmore secondary, and it is 7 for Swarthmore, 6 for Ursinus.
It was a strong rush on the quarterback, but he got it away, and there you saw the brilliance of what one man could do. And Camella caught it about 35 yards out. Almost right sideline. Took off. Showed some good moves and a lot of speed. And here's a very crucial play as Ursinus is going for 2.
Right, Mike. Ball on the 3-yard line. There goes DeShill. He's going to throw, and it's incomplete. Overthrown in the right corner of the end zone. Swarthmore hangs on to a 7-6 lead. The ball is headed for Camella, who had caught the touchdown pass of 55 yards.
Well, on that one, Frank, Taylor Cope was there, and there was no chance for a completion. But now this is a completely different ballgame, 7-6, and there's no margin for error. Camella seemed to catch that pass in the air, pivoting, I think, away from where he was originally intended to be, and then he took off through the secondary, and it was just an excellent individual play by him. And he turned a potential bad play, the quarterback was rushed, into a touchdown. Now it's 7-6, and Ursinus is ready to kick off to the Garnet with Craig Martin, I believe, and Rick Baker in double safety. Here's the kick. It's high, wobbly. Martin is going to take it on the 20-yard line. To the 25, the 30, the 35, and he goes across 35 to the 36-yard line, where number 83 had some tackles, right?
Okay, the touchdown drive covered 90 yards in only 7 plays. And, of course, that 55-yard touchdown pass ate it up. Okay, Swarthmore has the ball first and 10 on their own 37-yard line. And Somerton is back in at quarterback. And the ball fumbled as he tried to pitch out to Fraser. And it's recovered by Ursinus on the 26-yard line. Tom Branca recovers it for the Bears, actually on the Swarthmore 27.
That was a wide play to Yeager, and he picked it out, and nobody could catch that one. And now it's right back knocking on the door. Right?
This is what put us in the jam in the F&M game. Okay, DeShill calls the signals. Back to pass. He's looking. He's throwing long down the right side, and it is almost intercepted by Taylor Cope. And he's disappointed that he didn't intercept it. That was right down by the goal line. There were 4 people there.
That was an excellent defensive play by Taylor Cope. He had his man in the end zone while one of the Ursinus receivers was going down that same right sideline, and he was free. But the pass was a little high, and Taylor left his man and picked up in the air and knocked it out of the way. Here we go, second down.
Second and 10 for the Bears as they tried to strike quickly. Shill hands off to the fullback Motto, who gets perhaps 1 yard, probably nothing at all. He's wrestled down by the middle of the Garnet line by Joe Thornton and John Stewart.
There's a penalty on this play, Frank. It's against the Garnet, and it's 5 yards. What's the call? Well, anyway, so it's not holding. Anyway, third down.
Third and a long 3. Called third and 4 from the 23-yard line. And a handoff up the middle, Motto, and he is near the 20. The ball comes rolling out of a pile of players, and they're going to spot the ball down on the 21-yard line. He did not have nearly enough for a first down. It's 4th and 3. Motto just tried to go right up the middle, and that's the one thing that's especially hard to do against the Garnet team. And to try field goal is number 11, Pete Schumann. Going to try it from his own 30. The kick is up, it's long, but it's wide. To the left side, and Swarthmore will take over on its own 20.
That's something to think about, Frank, that he has almost enough to just sort of sailed off to the side there. It's a little bit short. But on that series, they're trying to clean out. You know, they've usually been coming out on the right side, back to the right. Well, they came out with a spread formation to the left, and we may see that next time they get the ball.
Right, Mike Conant takes over, first and 10 on their 20. Somerton calls the signals, backfield shifts right, so we have Yeager out on the right. Now Yeager goes in motion left, handoff is to Bass, and he just tried to go straight ahead, and he got stopped immediately at the 20. Swarthmore hanging on to the 7-6 lead. We're late in the third quarter here at Ursinus, and this is WSRN. Somerton calls the signals, backfield shifts right. You have Yeager out to the right again. Yeager again in motion left, and it's a pitch out to Yeager, turning the left side, he's across the 20, and just across the 25-yard line, where he is stopped by Marty Baldwin, number 73. Pick up a 5, it's 3rd and 5 for the Garnet on their own 25. Backfield again on his right, shift, you have sideline left, lots of running room right. Yeager around to the left, and Summers goes right over the middle, left side to Dick Kamen. Kamen goes up to the 40-yard line, not quite, but the first down Garnet on the 38-yard line.
Frank, on that play, Dick Kamen caught the pass for the first down, and then was stopped on by some overeager defenders after that play was whistled dead, and Garnet then got up, and I think that could be a play to fire him up, because they got off the bench in a hurry. 15 yards, and then this time, personal foul, moves the ball into assigned territory on about 47.
Drake says they goes going both ways. Swarthmore now in good field position. Sunderland hands to Yeager, turning the left side. There he goes to the 40 and down to about the 35, where again there's a big pile-up. And Rich must be taking quite a beating on those pile-ups.
On that play, Ursinus had their defense extra deep, and their linebackers moved up into the line, so when Rick rolled right, as he had been all game, he had plenty of running room and got a first down for the Garnet.
And on the 36 of Ursinus, again Yeager, this time he's trapped for a 1-yard loss. Just as he got the hand on someone, got a hand on his ankle. It looked like number 77 Denny Davis, and 72 Mike Shelley got into him also. So now it'll be 2nd and 11 for the Garnet. I think that's the first loss Yeager's had all day.
16 and 7 Taylor Kobe 3 are now alternating at the split left end on this offensive series.
Kamen this time right by the left sideline, backfield, shifts to the right. Somebody with a long count as Yeager goes in motion left. Somebody with a quick looking pass intended for Kamen and almost intercepted. Almost intercepted by Joe Corvée on about the 32-yard line. That was almost a disaster. Instead, we have 3rd and 11 for Swarthmore on the 37-yard line of Ursinus. Big play for the Garnet. They have to come up with substantial yardage here. Backfield goes right. And Summerton calls the signal. Yeager goes in motion left. Yeager gets the ball on a pass play, and he is down to the 34-yard line about, where he is knocked down. And that is not really substantial yards. It's only 2 yards, so it's 4th and 9 from the 35. Mike O'Neill into the game, and Dick McCurdy was going to have a field goal attempt. And this is going to be the 2nd field goal attempt in recent memory.
I'm just going to have to kick that from the 41-yard line. I don't know. 41 yards.
Ball is down and it is deflected. It wouldn't have made it anyway. And there's a loose ball. Swarthmore recovers on the 19-yard line. No, it's about the 15.
Frank, that's what you call the forward kick. McCurdy kicked that. It didn't get above anybody's eye. He rolled in there. Somebody touched it, and now Garnet has the ball again.
Back to, he hands off to Toby Fraser, comes around the right side and loses, perhaps. No, he gained 1 yard, so it'll be 2nd and 9 to the 14. Tremendous break for the Garnet there.
Yes, it certainly was fortunate. Fred Montgomery's now come in as tight end for John Norman.
Someone calls the signals, backfield, shifts right. Here comes Yeager in motion left. Handoff is to Yeager. Yeager pulling inside the 10-yard line. He's still on his feet, and he gets to about the 6-yard line before Dick Miller wrestles to the ground, and I do mean wrestle. Well, they'll spot it on the 7. 3rd and 2 for the Garnet.
Garnet's staying on the ground so far, and I think with the 3rd down play, they'll probably try to hit him. Wonderful position in the middle of the field for a pass play.
Right, Mike Summerton. Pitches to Yeager, turning the left side. He's to the 5, and did he make it in? Well, he's close. 1st and goal. We're going to put that around the 1 or 2 yard line. Yeager got very close. He's almost unstoppable today.
Same play, Frank. It's yards about towards that sideline on the left side. Rich is running very well, and now Garnet has 1 yard to go for a touchdown as they reach 7-6 late in the third period.
Sideline left, running room right as the team comes out of the huddle. Thurman barks out the signal, and it's a touchdown to Rich Yeager over the right tackle. And Yeager has done it again. I don't think there's going to be too much question as to who's going to be the big back in the game today.
Well, they could get in that trophy down there, but that's only for Ursinus. It was the same play that scored in the first period over the right side of the line. Garnet now leads 13-6. There seems to be some confusion right now on the extra point. Garnet talking it over. The referee told Coach over too. Got something. Garnet hands across the way of Bart Rich Yeager as he goes to the sideline with his second touchdown of the game. Jim Lucas takes his turn.
McCurdy will kick. O'Neill holds the ball. His hand kick is up, and it is good. And Swarthmore leads 14-6. This drive actually covered, in reality, we can only say 15 yards. McCurdy had tried a field goal attempt from his own, about 43-yard line. The kick was very low. It was only about shoulder level. It touches an Ursinus player. It was a free ball. It rolled all the way to the 15-yard line. A big pile of the Swarthmore player fell on it. We did not catch who. It took going 4 running plays to get the touchdown. Rich Yeager going the last 13 yards on 3 carries, and Yeager has been tremendous. Now we're set for the kickoff.
Jim Burke, number 22, freshman, now gone in to take Yeager's place on the 16, kick coverage.
McCurdy will kick for the Garnet, waiting around the 5-yard line are Kenneth, Corvea, and Adams, the Bears. And here's the kick. It's going to be short to the right side. Corvea takes it on the run at the 21. He gets up to about the 27-yard line before being covered by Lyle Snyder, number 85.
Like he wanted running room, it was a short end over end kick. Bounced into his own blocker and looked both ways. There were red shirts on both sides and piled up.
Bears have it 1st and 10 on their own 27-yard line. We must be pretty near the end of the third quarter now. The Schill calling signal. In motion goes Branca to the right. In on offense at times. Schill is trouble. He throws complete to Camilla on the right side. He goes up to the 35-yard line. Camilla is all over the field today.
Right, Frank. That's their favorite play. Isolate him on the corner linebacker. Swing out to the sideline and throw that ball because it's awfully tough to cover a man like that. It's very shifty back and fast. You saw on the touchdown play go in this moment.
That was an 8-yard gain in the 2nd and 2 for the Bears on their own 35-yard line. Come out of the huddle, and the Schill again set. It's the signal that Camilla comes in motion to the left. Handoff is to the fullback Motto, and Motto gets perhaps a yard before being pushed way back by the Garnet defense. I saw Joe Thornton, who started the big push there, and Stewart and Blumberg seem to be in there also. This is called timeout for a measurement. It's going to be very close. The ball spotted on about 36 and a half. In case you didn't hear that, Michigan 14, Minnesota nothing at the end of the first quarter. And it's about 2 feet short. So the ball is spotted on the 36-yard line. And we'll see what Ursinus is going to come up with now. 3rd and about 2 feet. Kaufman in for Thornton. And Schill hands off to Tony Motto, the big fullback. He goes 3 yards for the first down. First down on the 38-yard line of the Bears. That was great running play right up the middle. We have running room left, sideline right. In motion to the right goes Branca. The show hands off on a delay to Camilla, and he gets nowhere. Is the racked up by Wilbur Streams and Dick Kamen.
Now, John Stewart, the middle linebacker there, pulled in the first half. He blitzed in and messed up the whole play and able to go to stop his goal. Now, Thornton comes back into the game for Bula Lake.
2nd and 10 for the Bears. DeShill going back, way back to pass to zone 25. It's that screen, and it's complete. Looks like Camilla again. And it's to midfield where Cope gets him around the ankles, and the flag goes down at midfield.
Frank, what happened on that play was there was a man blocking Ben Montgomery, number 82. What turns out that man's a lineman. And he can't be more than 5 yards downfield. And it was a nice catch. We got them up to midfield, but there was a man down there who wasn't supposed to be, and the play's going to come all the way back. The referee's marking it off right now. Illegal kick downfield. It's all the way back. 1-yard line. So that's a costly mistake for the time.
The show seems to keep tipping off, actually, that screen pass, because usually he goes maybe 5 yards back, and that's all. Wait, he takes off like he's a sprinter heading for his own goal line until he's about 15 yards back, and Swarthmore keeps pursuing him. Penn State 38, West Virginia 6 in the fourth quarter. Ursinus comes out on their 22, 2nd and long yardage. Shell calling his signals. He's rolling back to pass. He's looking. He throws on the right sideline. Camilla. And Camilla tries to go back looking for running room, and he winds up running back to his own 19-yard line for 18-yard line for a loss of 4 yards and slips and falls down.
He threw a little hook dance out to the far sideline, and Camilla had no running room straight, so he angled back, and then he saw that there were 5 Army members over there, and he just took the best course out. Fell right on his face.
3rd down and about 30 yards to go. Ball on about the 18-yard line. Michelle calls signals. He's going back to pass. Great pass rush is on. He throws the screen. Again, Camilla on the right side. He's to the 25-yard line. And it's knocked down near the right sideline. The 4th down long yardage, they're going to have to punt. And Camilla's certainly getting a lot of action. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Swarthmore 14, Ursinus 6.
Well, Frank, I guess the breaks are often extremely important in football. Dick McCurdy's errant field goal, touched by the kind of player downfield, David Garnett's very important chance to bring the ball in for a touchdown, and the offense did capitalize on it and bring it in for the score. And now here, Ursinus seems to be moving with a good pass play, but they made a mistake. They didn't nullify the whole move, and now they're in a punting situation with Rich Rager back to receive it as the 4th quarter begins with a Garnet on top, 14.
Yeager standing a single safety at his 35. Mills to punt from his own 10. And Yeager knows now he's got to expect a long punt. It's a high pass. It's almost blocked, but again, an excellent punt. Yeager taking it on the run at the 41. He's to the 45 and drives forward to about the 48-yard line, where he is stopped by number 42, Nosier, and number 63, Rich Baker, the co-captain.
Fine effort to block the punt by Dick Kamen and Tom Kaufman. They came very close to stopping that kick.
1st and 10 for the Garnet from their own 48. They have good field position, the ball right in the middle of the field. And the backfield shifts right. Summerton calls the signal. Yeager in motion left. And Summerton is pulled down before he has a chance. Son of a gun, that was a draw play. Fantastic faking. Summerton did indeed go down for a loss, but Sass goes forward to the Ursinus 45. I can never remember being faked out like that.
Yes, it was a terrific play by John, and they hit him very hard, but he didn't have the old ball, and Ray State charged forward for about 6-7 yards. Good timing from that one.
Second down, 3 to go for the Garnet from the Ursinus 45. Backfield shifts right. Now Yeager comes in motion left. Handoff this time is to Fraser, going over left guard, goes past the 45 down to about the 42-yard line, and it'll be close to first down third, about 2 feet, maybe a yard. Summerton leads his team from the O. Sets over center, calling signals, hands off to Yeager. Off tackle, right, and he goes to the first down and horses down to the Ursinus 35-yard line. Yeager doing that just on power again.
I guess Rich was stopped at the line of scrimmage, but he kept going off that right side. He carried number 44, Tom Branca, the defensive back with him for an extra 2 yards.
Ball is fairly well centered, backfield, shifts to the left, hand up to Yeager, turning the left side, he goes down for a loss on this play. Back at the 37-yard line, Denny Davis had his foot let go. Loss of 2 on the play, we'll call it 2nd and 12. Chuck Hunter is in for the Garnet. And, let's see, who's he replacing? Norman at tight end. We haven't seen much of Hunter this year, but here he is, backfield. Shifts right, Yeager comes in motion left. Summerton hands off to Sass. And it's a fumble. The fumble on the 33-yard line. And Ursinus has recovered the fumble. Fumble is recovered by number 61, is that? That's 51. 61, Ed Fisher.
Branca was a good fake again to the halfback and gives to the fullback Sass, and Ray had the first down, and then he sort of lost the handle and kind of covered that ball. So now they have the ball in the middle of the field, 1st and 10 from the 34.
The Shill, that good rushes on. The Shill going back to pass, and it's incomplete, intended for Addix. It was just a little bit high, and Montgomery put on an excellent pass rush.
They forced the Shill to get rid of that ball a little sooner than he wanted to, and also number 60, John Stewart, did a good job of falling back on Addix as he hooked towards the near sideline on the pattern.
2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line of the Bears. The Shill calls the signals, and he's going straight forward on that quarterback keeper. Again, goes for about 3 yards to the 37. Where the stop is made by the center of the line, especially John Stewart. We'll call it on the 38, so it'll be 3rd down and 6 to go. A long 6. Team comes out of the huddle. And the Shield goes back to pass. He's going to go around the right side. Camille lays a block for him, but doesn't do any good as he's down and out of bounds at the 40 on the near sideline. Forced out by 61 Eric Blumberg and 83 Taylor Cope. It was Cope that Camilla tried to block out, and Taylor rode with the block.
Frank pursuit of Frank Ansel and Eric Blumberg near sideline on the quarterback was very good. But he had no chance to make the yardage on that play. Good pursuit by the lineman.
Here we are in a punting situation. Mills to punt from his own 25. Yeager in single safety for the Garnet on the 24. Pass comes back again. It's almost blocked, and again it's a great punt. This time Rich is going to let it roll, and it's taken a tremendous Ursinus roll all the way to the 11 or 10-yard line. That thing must have rolled about 15 yards.
Excellent punting by the fellow Mills from Ursinus. He must be averaging around 40 yards a kick, and it certainly is a very valuable weapon when your offense isn't moving, because now the Garnet is backed up on its own goal line.
They'll take over 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. nice in this situation to have a good power runner like Rich Yeager. We'll see if they go to him. Summerton sets calls and signals. Hands off to Fraser, trying to turn the right side. He's going to be nailed for a loss around the 5-yard line. Nailed around the ankle by Tom Rhodey. Back on his own 5-yard line, 2nd and 16.
Yeah, so Rhodey showed excellent defensive play there. Kobe tried to elude him by looping around him towards the right side, but he stayed with him, pulled him down for the loss.
Right back to the 5-yard line. Summerton hands to Yeager, and Yeager goes right over that left tackle spot, goes back up to the 10 and crosses. Spotted on the 12-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 8, and that gets them out of the hole. That came and split left. Summerton handing off to Yeager. Yeager goes over to the off-tackle spot again. He's across the 20-yard line and up to about the 23 is Rhodey and Marty Baldwin stopping. So spotted on the 24, and he has a first down for the Garnet. Ursinus calls timeout. Maybe they're going to try to figure out some way to stop Rich Yeager.
Rich Yeager looks very smooth so far, and especially in his last 2 carries. That time he really busted away for a touchdown. The last man actually stopped him. He looks very powerful, and Yeager is playing one of his best games, I think, of his career so far today. We have a score.
First quarter score, Michigan State 7, Purdue 0. Band is playing outside. The Ursinus Bears dancing around with the cheerleaders. Swarthmore leads 14-6. I would estimate perhaps 9 to 10 minutes remaining in the game here at Ursinus. It's Swarthmore 14, Ursinus 6. And this is WSRN, the voice of the Garnet on the road. Performance so far today, leaves Yeager, I think, with an excellent chance of being named to the ECAC Division 3 Team of the Week. We've had one member on that team already. Eric Blumberg got on for his great line play in the Dickinson game. Okay, here we go again. Summerton, hands going up the middle to Yeager, again in the workhorse, and he gets a couple of yards. Give him 2 yards. The 25-yard line where it'll be 2nd and 8, tackled by Jack Matheson, a freshman. That middle linebacker, Ed Fisher, got in on the tackle also. He's been Johnny on the spot on defense all game. 2nd down from the 27 to the Garnet, 2nd and 8. Summerton going back to pass, and he throws, intended for Norman, batted down, incomplete. Jack couldn't find an handle. It will be 3rd and 10.
Call by John, because we haven't used our tight end at all. And he was on the line of scrimmage and was free on the far sideline. John lifted the ball and he had a good yardage situation there, but couldn't hang on to the ball. So it's 3rd down. And I think John may have to go to the air again. Perhaps he'll go to Yeager, but they're looking for him by now.
Summerton set 3rd and 8 from his own 27 backfield. Chips left, Fraser out to the left. John going back to pass. He's going to roll right. And looks like he's running with the ball. He's up to nearly the 30. No one was free. He gains only 1 yard to the 28 before being driven out of the 4th and 6, and he'll have to punt. Mill and Adams drop back in double safety for the Bears. Now Camille is back in single safety on his own 43-yard line. Summerton punts from his own 15. There's a hike to center. John gets away the punt. Fine punt. Camilla has to go all the way back to 35 to take it. He's heading for the right side. Now he reverses field back to the 35. and gets to about the 36 before, to the 26 rather, before being tackled. All that running actually netted him a loss of a few yards. Again, a lot of lateral motion.
Well, anytime they had to cover a punt, but not they had to do it again, they did it very well with Stewart, Montgomery, and Thornton, the whole crowd. And Snow tried every possible way to get free, but they covered it very well, and Swarthmore stands rightly applauded the fellas for an excellent cover.
Ball set first and 10, the Bears on their own 27-yard line. Still goes back to pass, throws over the middle, and it's picked off by Wilberstream to the 40, to the 30, to the 25, and down to the 20-yard line on the far sideline. That one went right to Wilbur.
Yes, Wilbur was in the middle of the field, and he picked off that pass, angled towards the right sideline, and got the ball down to the 20-yard line. And Allegheny has a chance to score a touchdown and ice away this game. To the line of scrimmage in a big hurry.
First and 10 to Garnet on the Ursinus 23. Summerton handing off to Yeager. Yeager going over the off-tackle spot, and he is down to about the 15-yard line. Tackle is by Jack Matheson. Gain of 7 on the play. Gain of 8 on the play at 2nd and 2 from the 15. I'd like to see Yeager's rushing total at the end of the game.
So with Frank.
Summerton sets to the 15, 2nd and 2. Once again, handoff is to Yeager. He goes very near the first down, up around the 13-yard line. Let's see if they have to measure or what. Looks like he has it, and they're gonna measure to be sure. Time out for measurement. The ball is on around the Ursinus 13-yard line. And here comes the measurement. First down, Swarthmore on the 13-yard line.
Rick Yeager's just gone off to the sideline. Craig Martin, number 23, replaced him, and he got a deserved round of applause. I think he's a very tired young man right now. Talking with Coach Elvis on the sideline. John Summerton now is calling the play in the huddle. John is going for a very big 6 point.
Team set at the 13-yard line. Backfield trips right to left, puts Martin out on the right flank. Summerton gives to Martin, halfback option pass, touchdown to Taylor Cope. Hey, the Dick Newman play comes to life again. This time, Craig Martin wearing the same number 23. Uncorked it, and the touchdown to Taylor Cope. And Martin threw it left-handed. Quite a play. Taylor's all alone in the end zone.
Frank, there was quite a bit of shuffling in the backfield on that. John handed it off once. John handed it back to Martin. And Craig had his receiver, Taylor Cope, who was over in the left corner. Very well free. Dick McCurdy now is going to kick it at this point. Down. And it's good. There was a low kick, but it got over. And the Garnet now leads 21-6 in the middle of the fourth quarter.
The drive started when Wilberstream intercepted a pass right near the 40-yard line and ran it all the way back to the 23. From there, it took just 3 plays to bring it in. Rich Yeager running twice to the 13 for a first down. And then Martin throwing to Taylor Cope. 13 yards for the touchdown. That's the first pass anyone's thrown. No, the second pass anyone's thrown other than Summerton this year. And looks like we have that same weapon again.
No left, Frank. Craig showed a pretty good left arm there. Very, very good call by whoever called it, John or the coaching staff. Because he caught their time completely off balance.
I think it might have been the coaching staff because just before the play, Craig was over by the Garnet bench talking to one of the coaches. McCurdy kicks off very short, it's touched by an Ursinus player, and picked up on the 15-yard line by Adams. Adams to the near sideline, to the 30, to the 35, and out of bounds on about the 38-yard line. That was originally touched by Bill Muir, who couldn't find the handle around the 35-yard line. and rolled all the way back. There's a little bit of indecision, and Adams picked it up and galloped right down the sideline. And they spot the ball. Well, they say he went out of bounds on the 35-yard line, so that's where the Bears take over, first and 10, trailing 21-6, probably about 7 minutes left in the game, possibly less. Back goes the shoulder pass to Camilla on the right side. Camilla to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, and to the 47. Taylor Cope and Chris King drive him down on the 47-yard line, but that's the first down for the Bears.
Right, number 71, Kenneth now was in on the defensive line. And on that play again, we saw Camilla, who was all over the field at that afternoon, doing it again.
The shill set, goes back to throw. He's got good protection. Now he throws long on the left side and overthrows at around the 30. Pass intended for number 22, Greg Tracy. Sinus fans thought that it should have been pass interference, but it is not so. It's second and 10 from the 47-yard line. Cope was covering on the play. Second and 10 for the Bears. The show set, again back to pass. He throws for Camilla again, this time it's incomplete. And Montgomery tackles him anyway around the ankle. Camilla just falls down.
John continued to play what's termed aggressive defense. Rich Yeager covered tightly on the previous play, and on that one, Ken Montgomery was leaving nothing to stand. Camilla is the type that have to get even if he doesn't have the ball.
Third and 10 for the Bears from their own 47. They have to come up with yardage now. They don't want to yield the ball again. The shell throws over the middle, complete to Branca. At the 48, he's down to the Swarthmore 44-yard line. And back on the play, let's see, Dick Kamen stopped him with an ankle tackle to 45. He stumbled forward 1 yard. Also getting up to the bottom of the pile was John Stewart. So it's fourth down and 1 yard to go. The Bears, Swarthmore 44. If they have any chance in this case, it's in the porch play for them. Addix is split out right, and motion left goes Camilla. Quick pass to Addix, and it's incomplete. It was thrown low. And even if he had caught it, Montgomery would have knocked him down right away. Addix is very disappointed as he kicks the ground. Swarthmore takes over on their own 44-yard line, first and 10.
Well, the Garnet defense has held again, and that's been cheated again, as they played a very good defensive game. And now the offense, I guess, will just try and use up the clock, as we have about 5.5 minutes left in the game. Now Summerton comes to the line of scrimmage.
Summerton calls the signals. Backfield shifts right. Now Yeager comes in motion to the left. Handoff is to Fraser, and Toby goes across the 45 to the 46-yard line. And that'll be a pickup of 2 yards, making it second and 8. Freshman Matheson in on the tackle again.
Mike O'Neill, number 12, has now come back into the game for John Summerton, and he'll be calling the signals, I guess, from here on in.
For Notre Dame, nothing. Oklahoma, nothing. O'Neill calls signals, and now he hands off on delay to Yeager. And he pulls across midfield and down to the Ursinus 43. Yeager running all over the place. Tom Brody makes the stop. Just no stopping Yeager today. Can't say enough about it. Timeout by the referee. That's a first down for Swarthmore on the Ursinus 43.
Number 53, Mansella has come in for number 51, Ed Fisher, for Ursinus on defense.
Pitches out to Fraser, trying to turn the right side. He's to the 43, and that's all. It'll be no gain. Second and 10. Rich Yeager has carried 23 times for 133 yards, and this is going to put him up with the conference leaders in rushing. Second and 10 for the Garnet on the Ursinus 43-yard line. O'Neill calls the signal, backfield shifts right. O'Neill coming back, he throws, sends for Kamen short, incomplete, and it'll be third and 10.
That ball was deflected by a linebacker or a lineman. Kamen ran what he's been running most of the game. He was running over the middle about 10 yards. The ball never got to him, so someone stuck up my hand. Now that we're alternating quarterback, so O'Neill is down for Summerton.
Kamen splits out left. O'Neill calls the signal, backfield shifts right, so Yeager's out to the right. O'Neill gives a fake and then hands off to Sass on the draw, and he goes about 1 yard. That's only, I think, the fourth or fifth time he's carried all game. He is primarily blocking. Well, he got down to the 41-yard line, where it will be 4th down and 7 to go. Summerton into the game for the Garnet. And John will be punting from his own 48, dropping back in single safety. Greg Adams at his own 10. Punt by Summerton is a beauty. Adams takes it on the 3. He's to the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. He's got running room. To the 30. He's going to go all the way. He's to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. And John Summerton got him at the 20-yard line. I thought sure he was going to go all the way. But he just sort of ran out of gas on the 20, at the 20, and John Summerton caught up with him. Quite a run back. A run back of 77 yards.
That's how I wasn't supposed to play today. And, well, it's another medical miracle. Great run back right down the middle of the field. And he eluded the first Garnet man down there, Del Thornton, who was limping off. Went straight down the middle of the field. Appeared he had it, but Summerton turned on some speed, and Adams collapsed from the 20-yard line. But it's a great run back. And for a guy who was definitely supposed to be out, exceptional play.
Well, they took Adams out to give him breathers, put in Tom Branca for him. And Adams is standing with his helmet off. Joe Corbett, not Adams, that ran that back. And, well, Adams is still on the sideline. Looking for Corbett. He's on the sideline also. And Ursinus has the ball first and 10 on the Swarthmore 20.
Frank saw Corbett has done this earlier this year, and he looks like he was dynamite on the punt return.
Set from the 20. Shill with a signal, going straight back to pass. He throws long to the right side. Camilla just misses it and goes through his hands at the 7-yard line. Covered on the play by Cope and Montgomery. And I think Brett's been doing quite a job taking Andy Weinstein's place at linebacker on such short notice. Wouldn't you say so, Mike?
Yes, it's a rough position, and especially with somebody like Miller around, makes it even rougher, but Brett's done a good job so far. Number 61, Ed Fisher's back in the lineup, replacing number 66, Eugenio, in the offensive line for Ursinus.
Second and 10 from the 20-yard line. The Shill calls the signals. Again, he's going back to pass, rolling right. Precious Padani has Camilla on the 18-yard line, and he is pulled down by Taylor Cope back on the 21. The flag goes down, and so does Tom Kaufman. School late. And the 18.
Springer, Rick Alfred's running across. Ray Kelly's coming into the game. Brewer was standing around on that play as it ended. They pulled down Noah on the sideline, and I think he got blindsided. It's a pretty bad play by any ball player playing football. Pretty cheap shot, a matter of fact. And he is definitely hurt. Rich Baker came around along with Nick Malafay. I think Wilbur's saying Wilbur's all right. He's up and he's walking off the field to make a statement, but I think he'll get it now.
Okay, the ball goes back to the 37-yard line on that penalty. On the personal foul, and will be third down. So it will be third down and 25 to go for the Bears from Swarthmore 37.
As I mentioned before, Joe Kelly is now in the center of the line for the Garnet. I don't know whose place he's taking.
She'll set, goes back to pass this time. He's setting, throwing to the left, sends for 22 Tracy, and it is incomplete, long at the 5-yard line, covered by Yeager, and a flag has gone down on the 23.
Frank is having again illegal pass receiver downfield for Ursinus, and that'll set him back further. Receiver number 63, Rich Baker, or number 75, Bob Stewart, I believe, who's coming off the field right now, who made the mistake. Referee talks it over with Stewart, Green. They take the penalty, and the referee marches off 15 yards back to the Ursinus 48-yard line. It'll be a third down play with very long yardage, about 40 yards before first down. And this is going to be having an open play.
We set up, we have sideline right for Ursinus, lots of running room left. Michelle calls the signals, he's going straight back to pass. Isn't that a surprise? He set, throws across the middle, Camilla has it. But no, he doesn't, he dropped it at the 45-yard line. It was right in his hands and no one was on it, but he couldn't find the handle.
That was the only shot he had because the Garnet went into their prevent defense where they had about 6 feet back. And he tried to hit Camilla over the middle fairly short. Chris King was right there, so even if he had caught it, it would have been a short game. So now it's a fourth down, do or die situation, and it looks like they're going to punt.
Mills deep to punt from his own 33, Yeager, and single safety back on his own 20. Bad pass from center, and he fumbles the ball. He gets the kick away anyway. Excellent play by Mills, and it's taken Ursinus bound down to the 3-yard line where Yeager picks it up. He's to the 5 and down at the 7-yard line. I thought sure that Mills would either have to run with the ball or else have a kick blocked, but he picked it up 5 yards forward and managed somehow to get the kick away. The kick went all the way in the air to the 10-yard line, took an Ursinus bounce all the way to the 3-yard line, and probably would have stopped dead around the 1 if Yeager didn't pick it up. Mills has got to be, I think, the best punter that we have seen in this league in 3 years. Set from the center, flags go down all over the place. As Fraser, I believe, some Garnet player goes into the middle. No, it's Yeager. He gets his goal immediately. Every referee threw a flag to talk to the Ursinus captain.
There's substitutions for the Garnet right now. There's substitutions. Lyle Snyder again. I believe I see number 70, John Gorlick, tackle, president. Number 24, Wayne Patterson, comes in. We're trying to put them all up for you so that if you actually
a motion penalty declined, so it's 2nd and 10 for the Garnet. O'Neill sets hands off right up the middle. Sass, I believe, goes to the 10 And it's funny, we see so many of those little red balls flying around, it's almost easy to mistake them for one of the red penalty flags. The ball is only on the 8, 3rd, and 9. I'd like to remind you this is WSRN Swarthmore College Radio, 640 on your dial, the voice of the Garnet on the road. Ursinus calls a timeout. There's not much time left in the game, and the score is Swarthmore 21, Ursinus 6 here at Collegeville. Garnet breaks from the huddle, 3rd and 9 from their 8-yard line. O'Neill calling his signals and goes straight forward himself. Again, flags are down all over the place as he gets the yard. And these flags are going to get dirty if they keep throwing them down. There's a fumble on the play in the pile-up. Looks like Ursinus has recovered. A motion penalty against Swarthmore declined, and Ursinus has it on the 9-yard line. It's hard to tell who recovered that, but at the bottom of the pile were Mike Shelley and Dick Miller, so it may well have been one of them. There's a big heap of humanity in the middle of the field there. And so it's 2nd down, or rather 1st and 10 from the 8-yard line, the 7-yard line, 1st and goal for the Bears. Schill follows the signals, goes back to pass. He's rolling right, big pursuit, put on it. He is nailed for a big loss by Frank Apple. Great pursuit, and he's back on the 23-yard line. Well, they put it on the 22. Great defensive play by Frank Apple.
Frank, we're going to have another play in a hurry, but just let us say that Apple was inspirational on that one.
Back goes to Schill. He's throwing to the right. It's picked off. Is it? Yeah, Wilbur Streams has the handle, and he has it on the 20-yard line. He intercepted on the 15, bobbled it for 5 yards, and finally pulled it to him. He was finally tackled by Ed Fisher, but he got the ball to the 20, and the Garnet has it again.
Well, you just saw an example of tremendous defense. The Garnet really eradicated it. Really hit him. The ball game is apparently over, and a wonderful way to end it. The final score, Garnet 21. Great defense, great offense from Rich Yeager. Frank will have some statistics for you in a few moments. But it was a fine game by Swarthmore to ruin their time to become comfortable.
For the Garnet, first of all, their record is now 2 wins and 1 tie. Or in other words, we have 2.5 wins and 3 outings for a percentage of 833. Ursinus 1 win, 2 losses, and a tie. Wilbur Streams, with 2 interceptions, now has 3 on the year to lead the team. The Garnet team has intercepted 7 passes this year. Now I'll give you a scoring summary. In the first half, in the first quarter, Swarthmore drove 78 yards on 8 plays, and it was almost all Rich Yeager with the exception of a 28-yard pass play to Taylor Cope and a 1-yard run by Ray Sass. Yeager went in from the 5-yard line for the touchdown. Dick McCurdy kicked the extra point to make it 7-0 Garnet. We got a couple of anxious moments as the third quarter began, as Ursinus scored very early in the quarter on a pass play, a screen pass play, 55 yards to Schill to Don Camilla, and that made the score 7-6. They tried for a 2-point conversion. The Schill throwing for Camilla again, but it was overthrown in the right corner of the end zone. So Swarthmore hung on to a 7-6 lead. Swarthmore next got the ball, and throwing from their own 35-yard line, someone had tried to pitch out for Yeager. He threw it right between Yeager and Fraser, threw it away. Ursinus recovered on the 32, but they couldn't go anywhere. Tried a field goal attempt. It was no good. Swarthmore took over on the 20. And from there, the Garnet marched 80 yards for what proved to be the touchdown that put the game out of danger. Big play on that was when they had to punt when they tried a field goal by McCurdy from some 42-yard line. The ball was deflected, never got above shoulder level. hit an Ursinus player, making it a free ball, rolled around, and the Garnet man recovered it for Swarthmore on the 15. From there, it took 4 plays to go in. Rich Yeager carrying in from the 1 for his second touchdown of the day. Another kick by McCurdy made it 14-6. And in the fourth quarter, finally, to ice the game, Wilbur Streams intercepted an Ursinus pass on their 38, ran it to the 23. Yeager carried twice to the 13 for a first down. And then we saw the all have back option play. Craig Martin throwing for Taylor Cope and hitting him all alone in the end zone on a 13-yard pass play. McCurdy's kick wrapped up the scoring, making it 21-6. We have some final statistics on rushing. On first down, Swarthmore had 16, Ursinus had 10. Rushing yards, Swarthmore 194, Ursinus 30. Passing yards, Swarthmore 61, Ursinus 175. That's 6 for 10 passes for the Garnet. They didn't use many, but they called them at the right time, and they were well executed. Ursinus 13 for 30. In the second half, they passed every time they got the ball. Do we have any final figures on Rich Yeager rushing for the game? 23 carries for 133 yards for Rich Yeager. Marvelous play. Marvelous playing by Rich. And here's Mike to wrap things up.
Well, Frank, there's a little more we can say. Don Camella got the trophy for the best Ursinus player here today, but Rich Yeager was the best player on the field. And I think we ought to say a few words, though, about guys in the offensive line like Webster and Hamilton, who we didn't have a chance to say much about during the game because the backs were running with the ball. Did a good job of blocking. And the Garnet defense played an excellent, strong game, the type we expected from the past year and a half. And it looks like a pretty sharp team once more.
It's good to see the sort of a sluggish first half, but we came alive. Now, next week we go against Muhlenberg. That's also away, so we'll be on the air. Once again, airtime is 1:40 over WSRN, and we hope you'll be with us as the Garnet drives, hopefully, for another title. A lot depends on the final score of the Streck-Wilkes game, and we'll be sure to carry a story on that on tomorrow night's sports show, so tune in then. Right now, we'd like to thank our statistician, Pete Goldman, our engineer, George Kaplan. We'd like to give a special word of thanks to Bob Kashinka, without whose assistance we never would have gotten the pregame show on the air. And right now, for Mike Halpern, this is Frank Brown saying so long. Once again, the final score, Swarthmore 21, Ursinus 6. This has been a WSRN Sports presentation.